I could run for my life, I could see your disguise, but it'll be just fine if heaven's secure. I could tell you were bored, but I gave you my word that it'll be just fine if you stay in for love. Through lonely days, we got better as they came. We are electrolytes glowing through the rain. We are electrolytes glowing in the rain. We are electrolytes.
Gaming Morning Show.
Things put on pancakes and rhyming bear intros. Austin confused about whose sister married the bros. In the UK, dooley-doo tugs on our heartstrings. Gaming Morning Show is one of our favorite things.
It's Paul.
It's Paul.
Ah, who are we kidding?
Pumpkin spice and fall. Paul.
We all know our favorite thing is the season of Paul. Pumpkin spice latte time! Besides the tasty drinks, the weather is cooler.
We get the most time where it's cooled off, but it's not always rainy. Sometimes it's rainy for part of the day, but then it dries up and it's just a nice, cool, cloudy day. I like that.
There's football on.
Man, did we have a great football weekend. Both of our teams performed to the tippy top of their tippiest top of performance, and boy, football is fun.
That's gotta be enough for all of the hosts of Gaming Morning Show, right? Right?
Okay, so when Club Penguin changed, they changed everything, they got more mainstream, and I wrote them an email. And I was like, it would be really nice if you guys could go back to the way things were, because the original Penguins, we really miss it. I speak on behalf of all of the OG Penguins, and we all are really upset. Print, you've changed, man.
You're the Lorax for Club Penguin.
I was. I speak for the Penguins.
Well, penguin begins with a P. So, happy Paul, everyone, from all of us at GMS. Broadcasting live from Redner's Rescued Cat Figurine Museum in Menominee Falls, Wisconsin.
When Sean Redner told his wife, Hillary, that he wanted to turn their Wisconsin home into a museum of cat figurines, she had a predictable response. We're gonna do what?
We'll do that some other time, huh? Okay then. Broadcasting live from the same places they've been since 2020. It's time for Gaming Morning Show.
Morning, gamer. Welcome in. It's Gaming Morning Show. In fact, it is also Wednesday, March 1st, 2023. We're into March, y'all. Welcome. It's Wednesday, the weekend of the week edition of this morning radio show that plays games, and we are going to be with you for a total of 2 hours today, a 2-hour show. As Sean is out today, we'll be back coming up tomorrow, and excited to welcome Sean back. Was busy hanging out with Oscar the Grout yesterday. Seriously, this dude was busy working on a whole bunch of grouting for the house that they live in, and wasn't able to basically get any sleep. And so the floor is in good shape. Sports.gaming is not in so much of a good shape. So I'll be holding the fort down for you until Sean comes back with us tomorrow. I'm so sorry to disappoint those who are looking for GMS from a closet. Unfortunately, can't make that happen today, as we are actually back in the home studio today. I like Downs, who's here, says, I can't wait to see where GMS is broadcasting from today. Hope my fingers are crossed that we're from an aquarium, which would be hilarious, but doesn't seem to be the case, at least not today. It's going to be a good show nonetheless. We have Gaming Morning Show, Morning Gaming News, as only I, a hefty goof, can bring that to you coming up in just a little bit, because, as it turns out, apparently that's my strong suit, right? Being able to find Gaming Morning Show, Morning Gaming News that even Sports.gaming cannot find. So I will bring that to you coming up in just a little bit. It is great to see so many people here. Holy cow. Chat is blowing up. Scott Chick opened up the show right about 6 o'clock. So thank you for being here. Scott Chicken opening up everything, saying good morning. We appreciate that very much.
First,
Element of One, good morning, boys. Good morning, chat. I hope today brings you nothing but love and happiness. Likewise to you. Gabe Pride, damn, I was waiting to be first. You were close. You were close, Gabe Pride, but it's great to see you. Thank you for being here. Nice chat to you.
Nice chat.
Now, let's see. If you're having a rough day, reach out to a friend, says Element of One. Downs, like I mentioned, said, I want to see if they're broadcasting from an aquarium. I can't wait till we actually do the show from Redner's Museum of Figurines, the cat figurine studio that we play during the Open. That'll actually be fun. Wisconsin is lovely this time of year, I've been told. Speaking of favorite pigs, good morning to Woo Dang Pig. I'd like to thank you for honoring me today. Really means a lot. That's an opportunity to get into our topic of the day. We have birthdays coming up at 6:50 this morning. Today is National Minnesota Day. It's National Peanut Butter Lovers Day. National Sunkist Citrus Day. National Dadgum That's Good Day. Self-Injury Awareness Day. National Horse Protection Day. Please protect your horse. And National Fruit Compote Day. But in addition to that, it is also National Pig Day. So we're asking you, who is your favorite pig? And Woo Dang Pig is here to be honored on this wonderful, wonderful day. Thank you, Woo Dang Pig, for being here on this Wednesday. Shout out to Woo Dang Pig. Good call by you, Element of One. This one is interesting because I do enjoy the result of pig. If you're looking at it from a food perspective, bacon is a fantastic food. I also like pork chops, but I don't want to get into the eating of the pig. It's the only way to approach this question. So instead, I'm going to give you Wilbur from Charlotte's Web. That is probably my favorite pig. In fact, some would say it was a magnificent pig. I can't remember all the other adjectives that they used in that book. A wondrous pig? Maybe. Fabulous? Maybe. Righteous? I can't remember. What are the other adjectives from Charlotte's Web? But as that pig was drawn in the actual like cartoon adaptation of the book, I'm a big fan of Wilbur.
Nice chat.
Nice chat to Drew Mega, who's here as well. It's great to see you. Woo Dang Pig says, thanks for having me. Absolutely. Thank you for being here today. Wilbur and Babe came in a close second, says Element of One. I forgot about Babe. Everyone acts like they forgot about Babe. I have. I don't know if I've ever seen the full movie Babe. Doesn't that pig... No, Babe 2 was pig in the city. Regular Babe was just on the farm. Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen Babe. I do remember there's a line, that'll do, pig. That'll do. And I have used that line before, so I've definitely seen clips from that movie, but I've never actually seen that full movie. Wilbur's a pretty okay pig, if you think about it. I don't remember exactly why, like, that pig, that show, was like, yeah, I like that pig quite a bit, but I did. So, I'm going to say Wilbur for my National Pig Day answer. Who is your favorite pig? Coming up, we have a story of a message in a bottle that travels more than 185 miles, which, by the way, I'm pretty sure that this is our second straight message in a bottle story that we've had this week. Also, we have a story of 3 bison who escape a Maine farm, and 2 are recaptured. We'll tell you that story coming up in just a little bit. Yeah, it seems like we're getting a little bit of dropped framage, and I checked to see bandwidth and see if there's something I could do to affect that. So we might be in a little bit of a delay until we get to the first break. So thank you all for hanging out with me this morning. Down says, as L has already picked Woo, I will go for Piglet from Winnie the Pooh. Piglet's fine. Piglet's fine. I'll roll with Piglet. Yeah, Piglet's fine. That'll do, pig. That'll do. Element says, I know my pigs. Element says, do you? Okay. We got Ham in third on Toy Story. Yeah, Ham, the piggy bank. That's a pretty good pig. That's a pretty good pig. Scott Chick says, I love Pua from Moana. Oh my gosh. That pig was so damn adorable and so good of a companion. That pig took care of Moana to the best of its itty-bitty little pig abilities. But that pig also needs more screen time. That was the only thing that poor Pua got from Moana, was didn't get enough screen time. That pig was very present, like the very beginning of that show, and then where did it go? Where did the pig go? Come back, Pua. We need you. We got Ham in the Third Toy Story, as I mentioned. Sketchy Girl says, anyone but Peppa Pig works for me. Not a fan of Peppa Pig, huh? I'm Peppa Pig. We did not watch that show for very long in the early stages of Hefty Kids' life. It was not a fan favorite. We watched it. It was definitely present. We had it on. But it was not like a primary show for this one. Gay Pride, what about Miss Piggy? That's such a great answer. She's one of my faves, very fierce. Yeah, Miss Piggy held her own. Didn't take no crap from no one. Yeah. And was talented. Now, I don't know if she was talented in all the ways that she was supposed to be. But, like, I don't think she could sing all the time, right? Wasn't that one of her things? Like, she wanted to sing and she couldn't, or maybe I'm misremembering. But yeah, fearless. That's a fearless pig. I like that. One of my favorites. Very fierce. That's a good word. That's a good word. So, yeah, I'm on board. I'm on board. Miss Piggy makes the list for me. Superphonic is here. Nice chat to you, Superphonic, as well.
Nice chat.
Thank you for being along for the ride. Says, Wu Dang is my favorite. Man, Wu Dang is getting all sorts of love this morning. I'm happy we shouted out Wu Dang Pig, because if for some reason you're not familiar, there you go. You can go check out Wu Dang, because there's lots of love from the GMS faithful, the audience this morning for them. All right, checking out. Much love, Ryan. Chat, headed to work. Yes, and again, we're on for 2 hours today. Sean is out today. We'll be back on Thursday. On Friday's edition of the show, I'll be actually back on the road from Seattle. So no promises that we'll find the aquarium for IMJF Downs, but we'll do our best to find our favorite next closet. I really wish I could have done the show yesterday, because in the second rental that we had, there was an amazing closet. It was even smaller and cramped than our first closet. Like, I wouldn't have had even the headroom that we had in the initial closet from Monday's show. And if you missed Monday's show, you can watch it on demand on our YouTube page, youtube.com/gamingmorningshow. But yesterday, Sean had driven back from Seattle after the funeral, and like I said, it was my wife's best friend's father who passed away, so we were with her best friend up until the later hours of Monday, so decided to just call it a day, and then we would be back on today. So, least fave pig is the main pig from Animal Farm. I think he's called Boris Johnson. I remember there was a book called Animal Farm. Was that really about animals? Now Superphonic's got me a little bit confused. Commonly hiding in refrigerators, says Scott Chick. Scott Chick, she's a little full of herself, spoiled for my liking. She is banned from the Scott Chick household. One of the things that little guy ain't gonna get to watch. Peppa Pig. The dislike from Scott Chick. And keep in mind, Scott Chick has already banned one set of animals to under the bed status.
Did 10 dogs live under Scott Chick's bed?
So wow, that's pretty tough. Scott Chick, not a Peppa Pig fan. Yeah, I remember we watched that show in conjunction with some others, but it was never the fan favorite. I know that there was like a Sophia the First period of time, which was not my favorite show. But then when we found Bluey, that was a game changer. Bluey's probably the best kids show of all time at this point. I mean, it's pretty safe to say. So, watch Bluey, you won't be disappointed. Gay Pride, say goodbye to Element. Man, I miss Piggy. Was such a great answer to that question. Often forgotten. Because the Muppets have been around for a long time. Like, think about how long the Muppets have been with us. And how many, like, iterations of the Muppets there's been. I actually think that my most familiarity with the Muppets is in Muppet Babies. So they had, like, the Muppet Show, and they had Muppets Take Manhattan, which was a pretty good movie from when I was a kid, or at least when I was younger. and they've had other movies. I think they actually had a revival of the Muppet Show when I was younger. They brought it back on like ABC or something like that. But like the original Muppet Show was my parents' generation, and they really enjoyed that show, which kind of makes sense because it was very unique for television back then to have, you know, an entire show based around puppets. Which also, you know, if you look at like Family Guy and such, like they had a hard time, Simpsons even, a hard time adjusting to the idea of like animation on evening TV. And so I'm surprised like the Muppets were of such like a approved thing for them, but I don't know if their qualms with like Family Guy and such were because of the animation or because they just didn't like the jokes. I don't know. So Bluey is so good, says Gay Pride. Absolutely. Please watch Bluey if you haven't already. It is enjoyable. Apparently the Australian version, or is it New Zealand? Forgive me, because I don't remember. But the version that doesn't show on Disney is actually even more interesting because there's certain jokes that they cut out of the Disney version. The one that's ported, to use video game terminology, ported to Disney Channel, so, or the Disney Plus app. Gosh, and that theme song, I remember for a while I was not awake when the kids started watching Bluey, and all I would hear from the other room is the theme song music, which is like this doo 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 doo. Mom, right? Like there was this song that would play, and the song was a bop, and I'd be like, "What are we watching out there? Because that sounds amazing." And it turns out I find out that was Bluey. So there you go. Thank you for the good save, Gabe Pride. Appreciate it very much. It's great to see you all. Thank you for being here on the first day of March 2023. Does anyone have any big March goals? You can certainly let us know, please. Always interested if folks have month-by-month goals, if they try to do week-by-week goals, or if it's just, you know, more of a yearly goal thing. But do you have any goals from the month of March? The month of March. Nah, Blue's Clues is the best, says Drew Mega. Now, Blue's Clues, to my knowledge, didn't feature any pigs. But you can correct me if I'm wrong. But as far as dogs go, Blue's Clues was pretty okay. I actually didn't watch a lot of Blue's Clues, but I didn't have Nickelodeon growing up. When you didn't have Nickelodeon growing up, you lost out on a lot of like the staples of kids' life, at least in the US, for sure. So I always had to watch a lot of the Nickelodeon shows, like one-offs at Grandma's house because they had the bigger cable package. So yeah, the one show that I wish I would have had on my own was Thundercats, but that's going back to the 80s and also is not related to National Pig Day. So anyway, thank you for being here. It is National Pig Day. Who is your favorite pig? We will give you some updates, some facts about pigs coming up in just a little bit. Have a great lurk. Thank you for being here, Gabe Pride. And of course, if you want to listen to GMS in audio only mode, you can go to Twitch and click on the audio only button. We try to be audio only friendly, normally on Twitter Spaces, but not on there today since we're only doing the 2 hours of the show. We'll be off today at 8 a.m. Pacific time. We'll be back on when it comes around Thursday for all 3 hours. And we're going to play Clunky Hero coming up on tomorrow's show, which was our January name of the month. It'll be our last day of playing Clunky Hero because next week we're going to introduce you to our February name of the month. And if you're a Patreon subscriber, you get a chance to win that right away. Find out more at patreon.com/gamingmorningshow. All right, let's get the news. Video game headlines you need to know. It's 6:26 West Coast, 9:26 out East. It is 2:26 for those watching GMS in the UK. Doo-doo-doo. As always, here's hashtag video game expert Sean. Good morning. Gaming Morning Show, Morning Gaming News. I'm Sean. It's great to be here. See how Sean I am? So Sean. I don't think I've perfected my Sean impression. It's a work in progress. We'll get there. We'll get there eventually. As is the case when Sean is gone, we often have to give you alternate news, and that's going to be the case today. Sean is not here, so we're gonna do the fun. Hefty makes up the news. it's riveting, I know. So we'll stop off at Game Informer first and foremost. This is one of the websites that Sean often uses for the news we share with you. We look for the first thing that says news, and here's what it says. EA reportedly lays off more than 200 Apex Legends QA testers over Zoom. This is a Wesley LeBlanc story posted this morning, probably about 2 hours ago. Electronic Arts has reportedly laid off more than 200 quality assurance testers at its Baton Rouge office in Louisiana. News comes by way of Kotaku, which reports that EA laid off these workers who worked primarily on publishing Battle Royale Apex Legends. During a surprise Zoom call yesterday, the publication reports that its 3 sources were able to confirm the news, which began making the rounds on Twitter when both current and former QA testers at the Louisiana office began to share what they had learned. Kotaku reports around 8 a.m. Central Time that QA testers were invited for an unscheduled but mandatory Zoom call with Magnet Global, which is the contract agency that manages the workers. It was during this meeting that the entire QA team at the Louisiana office was disbanded. That's sad news. I mean, I never want to see anyone lose jobs, and I'm so bad at business that I wouldn't be able to ever understand why that has to happen, even though I understand why people choose to do that, because bottom line and all that stuff, right? But very sad. Very sad. So hopefully all those folks will land on their feet, and if there's a better way to protect QA workers, as that has been a storyline that we've talked about in the Gaming Morning Show, Morning Gaming News, hopefully that's something that can happen. But I will say, being Apex Legends super fan, that, like, thank you for all the work that you've done on the game, because I love that game more than most any other video game I've ever played. So yeah, that's super sad. Next news headline. Hopefully it's not about losing jobs. This one's from Kotaku. The Last of Us dev shares great example of game door's absurd complexity. Ashley Bardem shares this story from yesterday. You may be watching The Last of Us. There's a video game adaptation into a series. As far as I know, there's 2 more episodes left if you haven't watched The Last of Us. And there's going to be a second season, because I've been listening to the official Last of Us podcast from HBO on podcast platforms. And I believe before the start of their 6th episode of that, they said it's been confirmed that they will have a second season, which is exciting. This story reads, the HBO adaptation just released its 7th episode. And I don't know if you know this, but there were a lot of doors in it, writes Ashley. For Kotaku, there are a lot of doors in the world all the time, at your house, the workplace, and your video games. You might not think too hard about them because doors are kind of a given, but The Last of Us animators shared on Twitter an example of why doors shouldn't be taken for granted, at least not when it comes to normal and door-like things in a video game. Quote, I remember when I finished the animation system for The Last of Us Part 2 combat doors, said one of the lead Naughty Dog animators. I thought maybe much, but it's all done now. We have it, and we're going to reuse it forever. Because, like, what more can one possibly desire from this damn door, right? Wrong, apparently. The clip shows the person sharing documents, pulling the doors away from canned animation or a fixed repetitive animation tied to an action, so that jogging backwards through them, running quickly across them, or simply pushing them open and moving on during unpredictable combat created different door reactions. Okay, listen. This is one thing that, like, I've always taken for granted when it comes to any sort of visual creative medium, especially animation, is how complex simple things are. So that's actually really fun. I'm happy that they shared that story, because if it works seamlessly in a video game, that probably means there was an S-ton of work that was done to get it to that stage. I will give you an example. Resident Evil for the PlayStation had one of the worst door animations of all time, because you had to, like, load the next scene, the place you were going to on the other side of the door, and it took forever. And so as a result, like, it was like, oh, I need this new scene to load. Now that you can just, like, run through a door and you can see what's on the other side of that, very thankful. Good story. That's from Kotaku. We'll share all these here in just a moment in the chat if you want to read these. Third news story from me, Sean, the person that I am, in fact, the video game expert who is giving you all the news this morning.
Correction. Sean's gaming knowledge actually originates from his pancreas, not his kidneys.
Straight from my pancreas right to you. This is from ONS Good of Polygon. All the big new games coming out in March. And that includes several of them. So if you were wondering what you can anticipate for this particular month, here's some examples. Wolong Fallen Dynasties coming out March 3rd, March 9th. Fatal Frame, Mask of the Lunar Eclipse. March 10th, Before Your Eyes, you have March 16th, The Dark Pictures, Switchback, and Gorn for the VR2. In fact, both of those are VR2. Bayonetta Origins is coming out for Nintendo Switch, as is WWE 2K23. Star Tenders, Intergalactic Bartending is coming out as well. March 21st, The Walking Dead. Sea Smash VRS is out on March 23rd. March 24th, EA Sports PGA Tour, and Resident Evil 4 Remake. So if you've been looking forward to that one, that's some of those that are coming out. And as Sean reported, I think earlier in February, The Last of Us Part 1 for PC is coming out March 28th. So that one was recently delayed. So these are some of the games that are out. I think there's a demo, a table setter demo back in September for the Souls-like game Wolong Fallen Dynasty. So if you've been looking for that, that's available. And then yes, Last of Us Part 1 finally comes to PC. Of course, we tell you during the Gaming Morning Show Morning Gaming News all of the games that are out today, which we'll do here in just a moment. So that's kind of a preview, an appetizer for the month of March. If you haven't had a chance to look what's coming out already, we're hopefully able to supply that for you today. So there you go. That is your third news story. Now it's time to hopefully tell you what games are out today. It is the Wednesday edition of this morning radio show that plays games, and most often our out today list is pretty reliable by this time of the week. It is also March 1st, so are any of those games that I just mentioned coming out today? Well, I'll never know, because the website that I go to get these, it doesn't have a list for the week of February 28th. The last one was February 20th. This is the one that never lets me down. It's letting me down. I had one for February 13th, had one for February 6th, but there's no video games that are out today. Oh no. Chat, can you make me up a list of video games that are out today? Like, so you want to be a what games are out today writer for your favorite morning radio show that plays games? Well, congratulations. It's What Is Out Today Simulator, brought to you by GMS. What games are out today? Anybody? I'll see if this one has one. I'm guessing it doesn't. I can tell you what games came out nearly this week last year, if you wanted to know that. There you go. That's your Gaming Morning Show Morning Gaming News for March 1st, 2023. We tried, but we failed. All right, there you go. Thank you for being here. Drew Mega says, my favorite pig growing up, I watched a lot of Looney Tunes, so I'd have to say Porky Pig is up there. Also noted that Sean's voice was deeper during the Gaming Morning Show Morning Gaming News. That might have been the case, yes. Sometimes when Sean is here in puppet form, Sean used a little bit more deep tones in his voice. It's just the way it is sometimes. Down says, I feel everyone's downsizing their QA and just giving consumers buggy games and then fix it from community feedback. I hope that doesn't become a trend. EA doesn't pay me enough to be their QA tester. Yeah, I mean, I see that as being a plausible deal, Downs. Is that a good thing? I don't imagine. I mean, I'd rather have everything working the moment the game comes out. And listen, I would love to know from somebody who has a little bit better area of knowledge about how big video game studios and QA is, like, what their relationship is, because is QA like a very low-end job in the video game industry? Is it like, I used to work in call centers, And that's one of the front lines of an organization where you spend a lot of time answering phones and working, one-on-one with customers, and sometimes are like the first entry point for customers. Is that the case for QA testers? They're not working directly with customers, but are they at like one of the lower end spots in the corporate structure of like big video game studios? Because if that's the case, like, this is usually the trend, right? People who have like those lower end jobs are usually like the first to get cut, but their jobs can actually be super important. Like Downs is saying, if they're testing the game and making it a little bit better right off the bat, a better user experience for the customer, isn't that like a big deal? So yeah, I'm interested in that too, Downs. Thank you for pointing that out. I'm putting in some of the links right now, so if you wanted to read some of these stories, you can. Again, we had the one from Game Informer, that first one about the testers being let go, and then here's the story about the doors, which actually was a fun find for having a random pick on today's morning radio show that plays games. So yeah, I liked reading that one. So I'll share the other one. I'll find the third one and share that with you as well, coming up in just a little bit. All right, right now it's 6:38. It's time to see what we're tracking at this hour on this morning radio show that plays games.
You can news if you wanna.
And this one is a fun story. This comes to us courtesy of Ben Hooper of UPI. Like I said, it's 6:38 on the West Coast right now. The story is of a message in a bottle that reaches Australia after a journey of 185 miles. Ben Hooper of UPI writes this headline. Apparently, a swimmer visiting a beach in New South Wales, Australia, found a mussel-covered message in a bottle that turned out to have traveled more than 185 miles. This person said they were swimming at Murray's Beach in Jervis Bay. This happened on Sunday when they found the message covered in mussel shells. The bottle contained a message from a girl named Vicky, who wrote that the bottle had been thrown into the water by her father, who was in the Navy off the coast of Newcastle, New South Wales, in December of 2020. Quote, "I'm 10 years old. Today's date is April 12th, 2020, the day before my dad's birthday, and my birthday is September 30th, 2010. The person who found it said he was able to use the contact information from the note to talk with Vicky, who is now 12, and her father. Quote, he couldn't believe his ears when I said he had his daughter's note in my hand and the location that the bottle was found. They said they made plans to return the bottle to the family in person over Easter." They're gonna get together. How cool is that? That's pretty neat. Yeah. 185 miles traveled by a message in the bottle. That is what we're tracking at this hour on this morning radio show that plays games. I'm still surprised as hell. I mean, that's 185 miles, which in the grand scheme of things is not huge, right? But still, not insignificant. And the fact that the bottle actually got that far, that's pretty impressive. Really impressive. So, interesting. Next hour, we'll tell you a story of 3 bison that escape a Maine farm, and 2 have been recaptured. Down says, I live near Rockstar QA. Seems to be the lowest end to get in, but needs qualifications. Okay. Hefty Wife and I talked about this. Hefty Wife works in a fairly specialized field. And we were talking about a job listing the other day that was in her field that was entry level. Entry level. Required a college degree, bachelor's, and 6 years of experience. And my brain kind of like, it fell apart in that moment in time, because doesn't that seem counterintuitive to be an entry level position? But you need to have multiple years of experience doing it. So I understand that might be an entry point for that field, but that doesn't seem like an entry level position, which is what Downs' thing about you need qualifications to be a QA tester. QA testing, it seems like a job like that could benefit from like the apprentice model, where you could get signed up and learn the trade and understand what people are looking for from a QA tester by spending like a year shadowing an existing QA tester. Does it really need to have, you have to start at a smaller studio first and then join a larger studio? And that's also assuming that's something you want to do. The one thing that I've liked about talking to people in the video game space since we started the show just around 3 years ago is how many folks actually prefer to work for smaller studios. If you prefer to work for a smaller studio, you don't necessarily want the job at EA, right? You might prefer and cherish more your job with a 3-person, a 10-person studio, right? So if that's the case, maybe you don't want to change. Good morning to RHS Jack. It is great to see you. Thank you for being here with this morning radio show that plays games. We are asking you about your favorite pig. So if you have one, please let us know. The one song the police did is still pretty salient. Too bad they were a one-hit wonder. I can't remember last time I did the message in the bottle thing. I think I confused Sting with someone else. That was such a heartwarming story. Love it. I do like those stories. And sometimes we'll have like message in a bottle stories too close together. And I prefer to have a little bit more of a variety. But today, since we're only on for 2 hours and Sean's not here, I figured, yeah, we'll go with that. So I scored a goal, and I don't know how. Let's see. I turned my back to this. I got the face off, and then I just turned my back. That's how I scored a goal. Video games are easy, chat. That's all you got to do. If you have any experience that isn't entry level, anything, industry job, maybe the wording needs to be revised in job applications. I mean, listen, I could give them the benefit of the doubt if it's an entry-level job in that field. I can give them, fine. Okay, that's something where you don't have... Well, actually, no, I guess I'm saying exactly what you just said, Jack. If it's an entry-level job in the field, it means you could start tomorrow without any experience working. Maybe you could say it's entry-level, but there's a degree requirement, which still I feel like is an unnecessary barrier. But, yeah. Latest listing for associate QA tester is uni degree and 6 months experience with PlayStation compliance testing. Okay. And this is in the UK, DoublU. I don't know. I'm kind of thinking this out in real time, because I believe that and I have to speak from my experience. The degree that I have from a 4-year public university is not something that I feel like gave me a tremendous amount more than what I left my high school with. Now, does that mean that my high school did a really good job? Does it mean that I didn't take full advantage of my university experience? Like, I'm trying to be open to criticizing, like, my frame of reference on that. But I've met a lot of folks who don't have a degree, who have tremendous abilities, even rivaling those that I know who have a degree. Now, there's the specialized knowledge that comes from, like, the actual major that I have that I think is useful. But I think that's where you maybe don't have that listed as a... I think that's maybe where you don't have that listed as a requirement for the job if it's entry level. Does that make sense? Like, my specialized knowledge that comes from the university degree can help me get a job that requires specialized knowledge beyond what anybody could do. So that's where I'd prefer to see maybe like an entry-level job be one that almost anybody could do right out the gate. And maybe there's some training that comes from that job, and that's part of the benefit of getting it. Is it's entry level, but they're gonna be able to help you going forward. Thank you, Drew Mega, for taking the time to write. I would say QA is a very critical step in any development of project work. So producing a solid final product requires sharp QA processes. QA jobs require lots of critical thinking, being able to identify all of the testing use case scenarios that are required to make the product that is thoroughly tested So you can have an entry QA job, but they would need to be put in projects with senior QA leads who prefer proper guidance and feedback to develop the skills and experience. So this is what I'm saying. Like, that sounds like an apprenticeship model. Which I will admit, like, I had no desire to do any of the trades. Me and my father talked about this recently, where, like, for example, plumbing, right? It is a career that I was never interested in, but I acknowledge that it is an incredibly nuanced and important job, and not anybody can turn around and do it tomorrow, and do it at the level that a professional plumber is capable of doing, right? And the apprenticeship journey for somebody who wants to become a plumber is one where they, to my understanding, and anyone who knows this deeper than me can share, you're looking at a situation where, you know, you spend a year or two learning how to do that job from the source, and while you do that, the benefit to the plumbers, they get someone who helps them at a lower cost than they would an actual, you know, employee. But after a couple of years, you have all the information to then basically open your own plumbing business or become a specialized member of an existing plumbing company, right? Like, that's the benefit of being an apprentice. And I never had any interest in, like, doing those jobs because I'm not good with my hands. I'm not skilled. It's just stressful for me. But, like, the model itself was always intriguing. Like, why isn't there a radio apprenticeship, right? Where it's not, and maybe I'm just mixing up internship with apprenticeship. Like, the best of internships are apprenticeships. But a lot of times internships always felt like, you know, yeah, you can be an intern, you're going to work for free. Whereas an apprentice actually, I believe, earns money, right? I don't know. This is why I'm saying, like, the way that Drew Mega just described that idea of shadowing under a senior QA lead, like, the mentorship aspect you get, too, of having that, like, intimate of a relationship with somebody else who's good at their job. Like, that was important in broadcasting, too, where it was one-on-one. You get so much of that person's attention and insight, and they tailor their feedback to you. It's not like systematically created where, you know, you're building out an end of year review and you're filling in numbers and such. You're just focusing on that person. That was super helpful for me as a broadcaster when I first started, and that made it worth it to work for free, in my opinion. But I also believe in that idea of no one should work for free. So the sooner that people can start making income for the work that they're doing, it should start right away. So I don't know. Maybe I'll look more into the apprenticeship model. Maybe that's where I don't know enough to have a strong opinion on that. But based on what Drew Mega said, like, you and I are coming from a similar approach to this. Whereas, like to apply it to what IMJF Down said, like, I don't think you should have to have a university degree to get into a field unless it requires literally that kind of information. So, and maybe it does. Maybe that's the part that I don't understand. So anyway, good discussion. Thank you for sharing it. Jack is back. Jack is back! My internet might be acting up, or it might be Twitch. I never watch other streams when GMS is on, so I can't tell. Well, remember, one thing is you can always find us other places, too. So if you want to find us, go to gamingmorningshow.tv/where to find GMS. You can watch us on Facebook Gaming. You can also watch us on YouTube if Twitch isn't cooperating, which was one of the advantages of doing a multi-stream, is if it's not working one place. We've had shows before where Twitch just shuts down, and then we send you over to YouTube, and you've all joined us there. So just know that there are other options. Jack says, in the old days when I started working in journalism in Southern California, you started as an intern, then you needed a degree, and when hired, you were mentored for at least a year, which is basically more interning. Yeah, but paid better. Paid better. Yeah. Actually, kind of like that model intrigues me too, because the path that a lot of the students in my graduating class were told is like the current path is you go to school right away after leaving high school. So if you're going to go to college, you're going to go to college right away. I kind of like the idea of like almost going into the career field that you're interested in and testing the waters, where you said you started as an intern, because that might help more people understand what they want to do based on more than just a hunch before they're investing a whole bunch of money into it. So, thank you for the reminder of GMS Tuesday nights. So we had the special Friday edition, which was last week, not tonight, which is unfortunate that I don't have that updated. But that gives me an opportunity to share one thing with you, chat. So we posted on our Discord in the announcements section yesterday that we're no longer doing GMS Tuesday nights as a regular feature of our programming. We're going to reallocate that time to different endeavors, namely some social media content that we've been building since at least September of last year. And so as a result, we won't have a recurring weekly episode of GMS Tuesday nights like we've been having as of late, but we're still going to do GMS Tuesday night style programming on some event style basis. So for example, you still might have a GMS Fudge, and it may happen on a Tuesday night. We just may either go a little bit longer, or maybe we'll send you over to Sports.Gaming's Twitch channel, and we'll have a show that is GMS related, but on Sports.Gaming's channel, or maybe I'll be on my Facebook Gaming channel. So there's going to be different ways we're going to kind of take what we liked about GMS Tuesday nights, which I honestly think would work really well for us in the future. Meaning, 5 years from now, GMS Tuesday nights could be a really good block of programming. It just is not something that we can maximize for our time investment right now. Instead, we're going to be doing some cool social media first content. We've been working on that since September, and we're going to have some more time to do, like I said, some special, more event-based type streams too. So it should be a win-win. Jack says, no more Tuesday nights. I don't care. I just want to have your time and your health, which is more important than my petty needs. It's not a health thing. And it wasn't necessarily a time thing either. It's just, it is a time thing because we weren't able to do all of the things we wanted to do. So I guess that's fair. That's fair. But we were enjoying the hell out of it. We enjoyed doing it for sure. In fact, I had a really good episode a couple weeks ago, which was called GMS Plus Guests. And we had J-Megs on from Latinx in Gaming, and that was one of my favorite episodes we've done to this day. Even the first episode we did, GMS Game Night, when we had Element of One, VG Did Try, and Hey It's Brendan on to play Game of Life. That was a really fun thing. I can't wait to do more of those, but we're not going to do it on a regular basis anymore. That's going to be too difficult. And one of the things that we really like is consistency with GMS. We try to be here consistently, and GMS Tuesday nights really fits that well, but it's providing us other areas where we could be even more consistent with some other things. So I think it'll be a net benefit for sure. Teaching for 25 years now. For me, that lasted a year. See? So, Jack, you may have benefited to know that that was not the path you wanted to go down. So, yeah. All right, I need to get to the birthdays this day in gaming history. Forgive me if I've missed anyone else's comments. Drew Mega had, I came from a world of MarTech development and implementation, so very familiar with solution delivery. Thank you for sharing. I appreciate everyone giving their areas of knowledge to the show today, because that was a kind of unexpected churn. Again, the way I handle the news when Sean is gone is I look at the first headline that looks like it's newsy, not like a review or something, and I share it with you, and that happened to be the one that I shared with you today. So it sparked a good element of conversation. If you know someone celebrating a birthday today, please let us know, because we would like to celebrate with you. It is the 1st of March, 2023. Thank you so much for being part of the show. We made a mistake, speaking of journalism, omissions and corrections for this edition of Gaming Morning Show. On Monday, when we had a special episode of GMS on the Road, GMS from a Closet, we forgot to give you 2 birthdays that are from the GMS audience. Or at least GMS adjacent, certainly. Now, one is a Patreon subscriber, and is somebody who had a huge impact on the show, because that person created what you see on the left side of your screen, and that is the GMS Puppet Pals. MadArtisan, as he was formerly known, now RadArtisan, is having a birthday this week. Celebrated birthday on Monday. So to you, RadArtisan, it's your birthday song. It isn't very long. Toot toot. Thank you, RadArtisan, for giving us these wonderful, wonderful designs.
Oh, look, I'm pretty much wearing exactly the model for this, too. Look at that. It's good. Who else? PDdoubleU is also celebrating a birthday today. Let me see if I type this right. Bam. There's a shout out to PDdoubleU, who's celebrating birthday. On Monday, celebrated a birthday. So we missed 2 audience birthdays on the Monday edition of the show. So to you, PDdoubleU, it's your birthday song. It isn't very long. Toot toot. Last but not least, we've mentioned a couple of times that Copia, who is a longtime viewer of the show, has been creating some new stuff. This link will get you to a lot of Copia's old stuff. Copia is not necessarily doing the same kind of streaming and such that Copia's done before, but Copia has been making creations. And by clicking on that Twitch link, you'll get to all of Copia's social media to find the newest stuff, including a Basecamp release of music, including a track that you can listen to right now. You can do it right now when you purchase the pre-ordered album. But Copia has someone in his life named Sara, and today is Sara's birthday. So to you, Copia's Sara, it's your birthday song. It isn't very long. Toot toot. So there you go. There are a couple of audience birthdays to share with you today. Celebrity birthdays wise, there is a good amount of people celebrating birthdays today in the celebrity realm. That includes singer Roger Daltrey, who turns 79. When I saw this name, my first thought was, I thought Roger Daltrey was a James Bond figure. Am I making that up? Does Roger Daltrey have anything to do with James Bond? Because honestly, that's what my brain said. I clearly think I'm wrong, but I don't know why I thought that. What I can tell you, though, is provided the voice of a caterpillar in an episode of Once Upon a Time. Is that the ABC show that we were just talking about the other day with Jennifer Morrison, who played Snow White's daughter? Is that the Once Upon a Time we're talking about? Interesting. Director Ron Howard turned 69 years old today.
Nice, nice.
Most recent film that he directed was 13 Lives. 13 Lives. Today, actress Catherine Bach turned 68. Now, you may know Catherine Bach as Catherine Bach, but her last name is actually Bachman. Bachman. So there you go. Roger Daltrey, the actor who portrayed James Bond in the 70s. Who are you talking about? Downs tells me Timothy Dalton was a Bond. Gotcha. That's, I think, who I was thinking of. Just a quick question to clarify. Roger Daltrey and Timothy Dalton, are they the same person by chance? Maybe. Javier Bardem. Is it Javier Bardem? I think there's different accents or like emphasis in the certain syllables. Turns 54 today. Fun fact, portrayed the villain Captain Salazar in Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Men Tell No Tales. Do you like ghost stories? 'Cause you're in one. Actor Mark-Paul Gosselaar turns 49. Zach Morris is 49 years old today. Holy cow. Reprised his role as Zach Morris in the Peacock Saved by the Bell series. I've never watched the Saved by the Bell remake, or not the remake, but like the new version of it. Did anyone watch that on Peacock? How was it? Actress Lupita Nyong'o turns 40 today. Was born in Mexico, but was raised in Kenya. That is Lupita's fun fact. Singer Kesha turns 36. Kesha, the new song that she came out, Prayin', was an epic song. I've always liked Kesha. First single was titled TikTok, which was also a banger of a song. And then today, singer Justin Bieber turns 29. If you had told me that Justin Bieber is still under 30 years old, I would have said, you're wrong. Turns out he is. He has one more year of under 30. Turns 29. Fun fact, recently sold his entire music catalog for approximately $200 million. $200 million. So, all right, there you go. That is your birthdays, including some of those audience birthdays. Thank you so much. This day in gaming history, Sean would have been able to play Lawsuit or Not a Lawsuit at least once. To this day in gaming history, 1985, Chicago, Illinois was the place. The Amusement Showcase International Show is held over 3 days. Meanwhile, in 1995, Sega releases the Knuckles Chaotix video game for Sega 32X. Chaotix spelled Chaotix. Chaotix. I did like some of the 90s naming conventions. Those were pretty okay. 1997, Sony announces price cuts on the PlayStation by 25 to 35% in Australia, Great Britain, France, and Germany. In the year 2000, Nintendo releases the Pokemon Stadium video game for Nintendo 64. Again, that was in the year 2000. In 2005, Capcom put out Devil May Cry 3, Dante's Awakening for PlayStation 2. That same year, Ubisoft, don't call me Ubisoft, releases the Brothers in Arms Road to Kill 30 video game for Xbox and PlayStation 2. As well in 2005, LucasArts releases the Star Wars Republic Commando video game for Xbox. That is where you didn't wear underwear throughout the Republic. If you didn't remember the plot to that game, I just wanted to save you some time. 2011, EA Sports releases Fight Night Champion for PlayStation 3, Xbox 360, as well as Nintendo put out Pokemon Character Kit. That was for Nintendo DS. The following year, in 2012, Hudson Group of Japan ceases to exist as Hudson Company is folded into parent Konami. So there are your This Day in Gaming History factoids for March 1st, 2023. How about that? How about that? Good morning and nice chat to a couple of viewers who are jumping in chat.
Nice chat!
It's good to see Quiet I Am Gaming and Businesses. It is good to see you. Thank you for being here this morning. Who are you talking about? Hint, hint, hint. Roger Daltrey is part of the Who? What? We just talked about the Who in the movie Pinball Wizard, which apparently is a wild ride of a movie. Let's put it that way. Hey, chat, you want to know, want to have your mind blown? Check out Javier Bardem's IMDb acting credits. Scroll way down, have fun. Man, Jack is dropping knowledge today. Man, front runner for Billy Thundergun Award? Question mark. We'll have to see. We'll find out coming up next hour. We're going to do just one more hour today. No final hour crew for this morning radio show that plays games. Sean is out today, so I'm holding the fort down solo. Sean will be back tomorrow. I will be on the road again Friday, but we will have a full show with GMS on the road coming up on Friday as well. Thank you for being here. It's been a fun show so far. What is your favorite pig? Or who is your favorite pig? Let us know, because today is National Pig Day. And we'll get back to that in just a moment as the second hour comes your way next on Facebook Gaming, Twitch, YouTube, GamingMorningShow.tv.
We just sat and chatted with your mom then, 'cause she had nothing better to say than to see like you're free, so go and see what Livana's got to stay up could do for you, 'cause everything is bigger than we have for you. Livana's got to stay up, just go and see for me, just go and be something you can't friends with me than I ever thought could be. Without it, Scottsdale has done it for me. Everything better than Lake City ever did, you see. Without it, Scottsdale is like a dream. A 13-year-old girl may close her eyes and see. Without it, Scottsdale has changed the way I see myself, and you know it's everything.
Tell your friends, tell your mom, Gaming Morning Show is on 6 to 9 a.m. Pacific. If you wanna get specific, come Monday through Friday and sometimes after dark. A daily theme with a question mark. We got gaming news and sports and Bob, Hefty, Austin, Mike, and Sean, the heartthrob. I couldn't imagine any other place to go than to start the day with the Gaming Morning Show.
Coming up on Gaming Morning Show, list of the day and sports. Become a Patreon. Join our Discord. Go to GMS.watch and click on where to find GMS. Time for hour number 2. Right now.
Morning, gamer. Welcome in this Gaming Morning Show. Thank you so much for being here wherever you may be. Facebook Gaming, Twitch, YouTube, and at GamingMorningShow.tv. I am Hefty Goof. Sports.gaming is out today. Is all grouted out. Yesterday was doing a whole bunch of grouting in a bathroom apparently, and not able to be there today. Sleeping right now, which I think is awesome. Sean will be back with us coming up tomorrow. So we're just doing 2 hours of the show today, and then we'll do a full 3 hours on Thursday and Friday. As far as I know, next week, nothing weird on my schedule to therefore have us have any pre-planned absences. So we should have a full 5x3 next week, which would be super exciting because this is one of my favorite things to do on the face of the planet, and you are all here as well, which makes it even sweeter. So thank you for being part of it. Coming up in just a little bit on National Pig Day, we're going to tell you about 10 famous pigs from the movies that, according to at least this website, everybody loves. And I'll be interested to see if that's the case. We've already had Scott Chick come in and bash.
Did 10 dogs live under Scott Chick's bed?
Viciously the legend of Peppa Pig. So there you go. Not everybody loves everything, I imagine. So we're going to tell you 10 famous pigs in movies. This website says everybody loves them. Let's see what happens. Downs goes 5x3. I got excited that Austin was back, but you mean 5 shows, 3 hours. That is what I meant, but you know, the best part about Austin Attack 12 is you never know when Austin will be here, so maybe it'll happen next week. Who knows? I did enjoy watching about 10.5 seconds of Austin Attack show yesterday. Austin Attack 12 was doing some sort of reading from past experiences, I guess is probably the best way to phrase it, to the best of what I actually think was happening, and I was asked to leave. So I went over to Lickets Myko, who some way, somehow was more wholesome than Austin Attack 12 on a show. So we did give a full shout out to Lickets Myko too, who's back on Sunday, Tuesdays, and Thursdays. No longer doing the Monsters and Friends podcast, which I still encourage you to at least take a listen to if you haven't already, because the episodes that are already out there were truly amazing, and Lickets Myko has chosen to go in a different direction. But thank you to Mike for making those episodes in the first place, because wow, Mike has just an elite talent for storytelling and for entertaining, and that was really bittersweet to hear because I enjoyed it so much, but I'm happy that it existed in the first place. So Monsters and Friends, if you want to at least listen to the episodes that were out recently, back in late part of 2022, you can as well. The other person who I didn't realize was making some neat stuff is Chris M.E. is doing something called Everyday Magic on YouTube. There's different live streams, but also some shorts on YouTube. It's a very YouTube-centric content creation endeavor, so be sure to check that out. Please like and subscribe. youtube.com/everydaymagicdl to follow Everyday Magic on YouTube. Also, you can find them on TikTok too, I believe. So there you go. There's some things to know. Today is National Pig Day, so we're asking you questions about who your favorite pig is. I'm going to read one from Jack. So my favorite pig is Habeas Corpus. Hint, it's from a Pulp Fiction series from when I was a kid, a long time ago. Really, really long time ago. 10 stars if you guess where the pig is from. Chat, I'm not going to be able to succeed. Yeah, I would try, but I'm going to fail.
You are one of life's winners.
That may be the case, but I'm going to fail you today. So, sorry. Good morning and nice chat, though, to Mel B on YouTube. It's great to see you this morning.
Nice chat.
Mel B, I want to be honest with you right up front. I'm not going to withhold any information. We will not have a third hour today. So, therefore, we will not have any Don't Let the Person Floating from the Balloons Fall in the Monster's Mouth. I don't want to disappoint you, so I'm being honest with you. In audience-host relationships, honesty is important. And I want to be honest with you. So that's why I'm telling you now. There will not be any Don't Let the Person Floating from the Balloons Fall in the Monster's Mouth. However, there should be tomorrow. Likely won't be on Friday because I'll be on the road again. But nonetheless, excited to have that back. Probably coming up tomorrow's show. So, favorite pig. I said Wilbur from Charlotte's Web. What were all the adjectives? Does anybody remember the adjectives for Wilbur? Let me look. Wilbur adjectives from Charlotte's Web. By the way, Charlotte was a great character. I don't love spiders, but Charlotte was a good character. And whoever voiced Charlotte in the animated adaptation of that movie did pretty okay. There were the following adjectives written in the web. Some pig. All right, that's fine. Terrific. Radiant. And humble. Terrific, radiant, and humble. There you go. Was some pig, for sure. I did like those who voted for Wu Dang Pig, which we gave a shout out on Twitch for too. Very good choice of who's your favorite pig. So I'm actually surprised now. I think about Element of One and Superphonic were two that brought Wu Dang Pig forward for favorite pig today, and it made me think. I'm surprised Superphonic has never done a Zuckerman's favorite pig, but for Wu Dang Pig doing a cover of that. Because it was like, da 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 da, Zuckerman's favorite pig. Who be, what do you see? Zuckerman's, like, right? Wasn't that like the actual song from Charlotte's Web's animated adaptation? Superphonic could do that. I mean, Superphonic could basically do anything, so that's redundant, I suppose, but yeah. Super, you have my permission, if you would like, and Superphonic, if you want me to be like a backup singer or something, you know, just let me know. I'd be happy to do that. Let's see. Mel B asks, is Sean sick again? To be honest, no, I don't think Sean is sick at all. I am actually sick. Sean had to re-grout an entire bathroom yesterday by himself, and I got a message from him roughly 9:37 p.m. Pacific time and said, hey, good news. The whole bathroom's re-grouted. I was like, I want you to take care of yourself. You may not know this about me, chat. Doing solo shows is one of my least favorite things in this world. But if Sean can get some extra rest, I'd rather Sean get some rest. Sean is constantly going. My guess is Sean averages maybe 5 hours of sleep, roughly. So, I may be exaggerating, but it's not a lot. So, anytime Sean can get extra sleep, especially when doing a project like he was doing last night, yeah, I want Sean to try to take care of himself, so. It was really fun to do the show in the same place, because that is one thing that we rarely do. We have done that for GMS Fudge, which, by the way, we talked about it earlier. GMS Tuesday nights is no longer a part of our base programming. We're not going to have a show every Tuesday night. We will still have some shows at 8 p.m. Pacific time on Tuesday nights, but we'll let you know what those look like, ahead of time when they're planned. Sometimes when they're impromptu, which will happen occasionally as well. Sports.gaming will be doing shows on Sean's Twitch channel. I will also have some shows on my Facebook gaming channel, so you can find us there if you haven't already. Twitch.tv/sports.gaming, Facebook.com/heftygoof. And so you can follow us on those spots too. And we'll bring you some programming that way as well. But I will miss doing GMS Tuesday nights. I'm really excited because I think that like concept will work really well for us a little bit later in our evolution, probably maybe as late as like 5 years from now, just because it's nice to have an evening block of rotational programming. Like, that design is good, but we'll be using that time to edit some more videos because we have a whole bunch of stuff that we haven't been putting out on social media, and that boils down to time, and having 2.5 hours back each week, I think is going to enable us to be able to do that. So very excited about that. Yeah, Sean has a great work and fan ethic, but he needs to get his rest. Yeah, Sean does. So I'm very appreciative of Sean. I'm lucky to have somebody who was a friend first and then became a family member shortly after. So
Did you know Pig Day a long time ago? They had war elephants, and it was the equivalent to a tank today. And they let pigs on the battlefield, and their squeals scared the elephants. The pig squeal is a few decibels lower than a jet. What? That's nuts. So, thanks for sharing that, Moby. Oh, it's a little too late with that jump. I was there. Sis says, that's so nice of you. That's so nice of Sean. Listen, Sean does a lot for the show. You already know Sean is our video game expert, of course.
Sports.gaming, also GMS head of facilities and technology.
That means that Sean is also that, like, in our family. We were talking about this in the first hour. We were talking about jobs that require degrees and are considered entry level and some other, professional paths that you can go through to find a career. And we talked about apprenticeship with some of the trades, like plumbing, electrical, those kind of things. And I actually really like that model. But I'm also not handy with my hands in the least. It was a combination of two things. I wasn't intuitively good at it. So when I was learning about how to rewire a light switch as a kid, and then Sean's taught me even subsequently as an adult, I don't enjoy it enough to probably be as locked in on the education as I need to be, and then it's just not intuitively easy. So there's a lot of pain, there's a lot of friction for me to become good at those things, and so it's not something that I like to do. And so instead, one thing that I am great at is buying pizza and beer, and Sean is very kind with his time. So Sean comes through and also does all the facilities work in my household, and that's a very kind thing because I despise doing it. So Chad, if you ever want pizza and beer, you just let me know. I'd be happy to buy it if you want to, bring me on over. Maybe you're good at cooking. You want to bring over a meal? Love to buy you pizza and beer in return. So, yeah. I pretty much like talking into a microphone. That's my favorite thing to do on Earth, and so I like to do that as much as possible. And you, chat, allow me to be able to do that. So it's pretty okay. I had a good penny shopping day yesterday. Got jars of cheese ball, regular $7 for a penny. Pretzels, regular $7. Got Valentine's Day candy, Ghirardelli squares. Let's go. Nice score, says Jack. Sis says, that's so nice of Sean. Absolutely. Sis is an incredibly talented artist, I learned yesterday. So, Sis, if you ever want to make me a work of art, you're invited to. I will send you pizza and beer. If you don't drink beer, I can send you pizza and soda. If you don't eat pizza, I can send you soda. Don't know if I have any substitutes for pizza. But I'll send you your favorite type of pizza. So, there you go. All right, it says 7:25 on this morning radio show that plays games. It's 10:25 out east. It is 3:25 for those watching GMS in the UK. Doo-doo. I think I saw that Jack is doing content again. So if you would be so kind as to give a follow to RHS Jack. I saw that, I think, in our Discord, which you are always invited to share your endeavors in the self-promotion chat area of our Discord. So, Jack, if you are, in fact, doing that on an ongoing basis, everyone please follow Jack, and Jack, you are welcome to share as well. On this episode of Gaming Morning Show, it is the Wednesday edition. I know that Element of One will be on, usually on Wednesdays. If I'm missing anybody else who's doing something today, you're invited to let us know. So there you go. That's the agenda for today. Let's give you our list of the day. And the list of the day has to do with pigs that are well known in movies. And according to this website, the website from which we got this list, nextluxury.com, everyone loves these pigs. And I think that's pretty subjective. So you can let us know if you agree with this list. 10 famous pigs in movies that everybody loves. Not a single person dislikes any of these pigs whatsoever. Nextluxury.com. Tobias Handke wrote this list for nextluxury.com. Who knew there are so many famous pigs in movies?
While the old Hollywood saying goes, quote, you should never work with children or animals, it seems pigs are the exception. These cute four-legged creatures pop up in some of the greatest movies over the past decades. They might not be as appreciated as movie monkeys, but pigs have made their mark in plenty of tremendous movies. So we're going to go 10-1 on this, and we start with number 10 on this list.
1-0.
Razorback, a campy Aussie horror about a killer pig. Might not be super well known. This is an Aussie horror film. Razorback is about a regional town terrorized by a wild boar. What town that is? Maybe it's Toadsuck, Arkansas.
Arkansas's favorite harpsichord player.
That's where Harry Styles is from. Razorback, the killer pig, goes on a rampage, kills anyone it comes across in a violent and bloody manner. So if you like horror, then that is an option. A horror film known as Razorback. Number 9.
9.
The Three Little Pigs. Now, we're talking about movies, right? I've never seen a Three Little Pigs movie. Have you? Is that something I should know about, chat? However, this tells us that there was an animated short film that won an Academy Award that had the Three Little Pigs back in the 1930s. So maybe that's where this came from.
How many wins? Oscars edition.
We don't have to do that, Bob. We're not in the middle of birthdays. The movie follows the fable closely. Big Bad Wolf comes after the pigs, easily blows down the houses of Pfeiffer and Fiddler, which, by the way, I didn't realize that was the name of the Three Little Pigs, 2 of them. The third is a brick house from Practical. Practical Pig is the name of one of the Three Little Pigs? What? The moral of the story is don't mess with Three Little Pigs. That's true. Sis says they have a cameo in Shrek. That is true.
8.
Best supporting actors, potentially. Porco Rosso is the name of a pig. Number 8, Italian World War I ex-fighter pilot becomes a bounty hunter. Marco Pagott is the name of the character, but now goes by Porco Rosso, which means red pig in Italian. This is created at Studio Ghibli. Okay. Or at least by the person who was known for Studio Ghibli. An interesting character whose journey is full of twists and turns. Porco Rosso. That's number 8 on this list.
7.
Wilbur made the list. Charlotte's Web has a delightful story. A delightful story. It was E.B. White who wrote this book. And in 2006, they actually made a real-life adaptation. They made a live-action Charlotte's Web. I was about to ask you when, but it just literally told me in 2006. I don't remember that. Interesting. So Julia Roberts, Steve Buscemi, Kathy Bates, and Robert Redford are in this movie as well. Dakota Fanning and Beau Bridges, I believe, are also in this. Huh. Wilbur. Who knew? Who knew? Oh, Fern was played by Dakota Fanning. Gotcha. Okay. Sidebar. The rat scene, the song that Templeton sings at the fair, is one of the best bangers in all of animated film. Convince me I'm wrong.
6.
Porky Pig is on this list. I think that was Drew Mega, maybe, who said that earlier, as someone who liked Looney Tunes back in the day. But that's all, folks, at the very end, was something that we usually shown at the end of the features, like the little cartoon bits that they did. Also, apparently Porky Pig was in the Space Jam sequel, Space Jam: A New Legacy. Good friends with Daffy Duck, has appeared in a dozen different Looney Tunes cartoons. So there you go. Porky Pig is number 6 on this list.
5.
Brandy the Pig. Brandy the Pig is the pig from Pig. If you don't know what I'm talking about, there was a Nicolas Cage movie a little while ago where Brandy is kidnapped. And actually, it gets worse than that.
Spoiler tease.
If you haven't seen the film Pig, turn your headphones off right now.
Spoiler tease. You know, Socrates' brother. Kind of a jerk.
This is a full-blown spoiler. But Kune, K-U-N-E, a purebred type of pig, which is a small breed of pig from New Zealand. He is kidnapped and unfortunately killed
and this forces his owner, Robin, Nicolas Cage, to leave his cabin deep in the woods and find out what happens. According to the author, Pig is one of the best films of Cage's career and comes highly recommended by critics and fans, especially those who need to remember how great Cage is as an actor. There you go. Number 4 on this list, we've had this one mentioned as well.
4.
Hammy from Toy Story. Best buddy, Mr. Potato Head. Although this said that, and I was like, no, isn't Rex his best friend? I thought Rex and Ham were best friends. They say that Rex is actually his, like, he antagonizes Ham, or Rex. Really? Anyway, Ham is always memorable when he appears on screen, and he is voiced by that dude who does all the Pixar movies. John... something like that. He's always in those films.
I bet Hefty can't even roll his F's either.
Uh-oh. Alert. 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 Sorry, Scott Chick.
3.
Peppa Pig makes this list. Apparently there's a Peppa Pig movie? What? A Peppa Pig movie. It's the name of the movie. It was a show that became a movie, and now Peppa is so popular that the show has been broadcast in over 180 countries. What? Pretty impressive. I'm Peppa Pig. Peppa Pig is so famous she has several theme parks, has appeared in 3 video games, and has a large range of merchandise as well. Peppa Pig is 3 on this list.
2.
Of 10 famous pigs in movies everybody loves, number 2 is Babe. Babe. This one's a little tricky, as there is more than one pig that played Babe in the movie of the same name. It was apparently originally a 1983 novel, which I did not know. If you're looking for the original book of Babe, apparently the original book was called Sheep Pig, which I had no clue as it being the case. But apparently, Babe's a heartwarming Aussie flick that won Academy Award for Best Visual Effects. The part of Babe is actually played by 48 different white Yorkshire pigs? What? There's a takeaway that's pretty okay. I had no clue. No clue. As well as the actual pigs, the film also uses animatronic pigs for some scenes. And number 1 on this list.
1.
Here you go. You ready? Are you ready? Are you ready? Gabe Pride, who brought us the original acknowledgement of this fantastic pig, is going to be proven to be correct, because Miss Piggy is number 1 on this list.
1.
Miss Piggy, not only is she a famous pig, but one of the most recognized Muppets of all time. That's absolutely true. Finding fame on the Muppet Show, Miss Piggy appeared in the Muppet movies, including the 1979 original, The Muppet Movie. Somewhat of a diva, writes the author. Miss Piggy is a karate expert with a love of French phrases. She also has an on-again, off-again romance with Kermit the Frog. There you go. There are 10 famous pigs in movies that everybody allegedly loves. So there you go. There you go. Good morning and nice chat to Dungeon Meowster KJ. It is great to see you on this Wednesday.
Nice chat.
Happy first day of March to you all. I hope that your March is going well. Does anyone have any goals for the month of March that they want to put into existence? And hopefully you will get there. Best of luck on getting to where you want to be for the month of March. Coming up, we're going to tell you a story of, well, something pretty neat. Bison that escaped from a Maine farm. We have that story coming up for you. It is National Minnesota Day, National Peanut Butter Lovers Day, National Sunkist Citrus Day, National Dadgum That's Good Day, Self-Injury Awareness Day, National Horse Protection Day, and National Fruit Compote Day. I also believe I spied that Melby says, I learned it is on Video National Day calendar. Oh, yeah. You were talking about something else. But I can't remember what it was. But yes, there are video versions of this, by the way, of the National Days of the Day. I found one, I think that's actually tied to nationaltoday.com as well. So if you ever want to look at Days of the Day in video form, Melby is correct. KJ says, officially my birthday month.
I hope you have a fantastic birthday month, and it lasts 31 days. You're one of the lucky ones who gets the maximum amount of days for your birthday month. I do not. I'm in one of the 30s, which is fine. I'm also not very good at celebrating my birthday, let alone a birthday month. So I will celebrate yours, because that's more fun for me. Gay Pride, thank you. You're welcome, Gay Pride. Thank you for bringing up Miss Piggy, who apparently is the most beloved, most famous pig in all of Pig movie, on all of Pig cinema. So a couple of the days of the day we told you about already, and then we had this day in gaming history. This day in gaming history, Pokemon Stadium came out in the year 2000. Devil May Cry 3, Dante's Awakening came out in 2005. And Fight Night Champion came out in 2011 as well. Those were some of the days of the day. Birthdays today, Ron Howard, Mark-Paul Gosselaar, Lupita Nyong'o, and Kesha all have birthdays today, among others, on this March 1st, 2023. All right, it's time to tell you the story that we're tracking at this hour.
You can news if you wanna.
Earlier in the show, we told you a story of a message in a bottle that went 185 miles in Australia. Now, we go back to Ben Hooper of UPI, and we tell you the story of 3 bison that escape a Maine farm. And good news, if you were worried about it, they have been recaptured. According to Ben Hooper of UPI, authorities in Maine said 1 bison remained on the loose Tuesday after 3 of the animals were seen running loose on Monday. It happened down a road. The police department said at least 3 bison escaped from their enclosure. They got through a broken fence, were seen running loose in the area. Animals were caught on camera running through traffic on a certain road, and police said 2 of the bison were returned to their pen on Monday, but a 3rd remained on the loose. Officers said 10 bison escaped from the same farm last year, prompting a temporary closure. It actually closed a ski center and a heritage center. The most recent escape could result in the owner being charged with trespass by livestock. That's a crime? The bison's fence was repaired with help from volunteers. Trespass by livestock. Oh no. I mean, I guess that makes sense. I'm sure, like, the owner probably got some semblance of, like, a warning, right? Where it's like, hey, you can't let the bison get out of this fence. That fence has to be secure. It's incredibly important. And then if it happens again, we're going to have to charge you with trespass by livestock. I mean, it makes sense. I'm not even arguing anything about that whatsoever. It makes sense that that is actually a crime. It's just funny to hear. So, there you go. What if Babe, the pig, got out? Then what? Trespass by livestock. There you go. I have a couple more National Pig Day facts for you. This is from nationaldaycalendar.com. National Pig Day, observed on March 1st, recognizes the domesticated pig. The holiday includes events, celebrations at zoos, schools, nursing homes, and sporting events. Pig parties, pig parades, and gatherings with pig collectibles are some of the other commemorated National Pig Day events. Pigs, writes the author of nationaldaycalendar.com. nationaldaycalendar.com. Pigs are clever and intelligent animals. However, most people are not aware of their high level of intelligence. Instead, they may be more familiar with them as a source of food. However, as this author writes, some are household pets that can be trained and taught tricks. I have heard that before. There are a lot of people who have pigs as house pets now. And I think one of the hardest parts about that is I remember reading that many people would get teacup pigs and then not realize that they become such gigantic pigs later in life. In Dublin in 1772, a trained swine called the Learned Pig told time, counted, and other such tricks to entertain crowds in the streets. I'm telling you. Amazing, humble, and what a pig. Ooh-wee, what do you see? The greatest pig in history. Fine swine, wish he was mine. That is such a good line. Fine swine, wish he was mine. What if he's not so big?
There you go. Zuckerman's favorite pig. But last night was so wild, I got a TBL. Yeah, we went out, hung out with all the animals. Oof. Trespass by livestock. Huh, that's nuts. Mel B, slightly delayed perhaps. Have you heard about the pig that they taught to tell time? Yeah, I just read that just now. Well, I didn't know it prior, but you were talking about that National Day calendar does have the YouTube videos, so that might be what you were talking about earlier. Fine swine, wish he was mine. Do you have any plans for your birthday month? KJ, are you already locked into something? Is it TBA? Are you planning to have a TBL? Or is that TBA? A TBL. Such a good line, Sis. Oh my gosh. Well, I mean, I realize we got it from the story, but, like, I could... Okay, so I grew up in rural Montana. So I actually bet... I bet you could actually get trespass of livestock. A TOL. Instead of a TBL. Yeah. There were a good amount of people who would do like the whole cow tipping thing and all that stuff. So. Yeah. It's real. It's real! I'm gonna go with Wilbur though. I liked Miss Piggy as an answer. I'm actually impressed by how many different pigs we came up with. So, and then someone talked about the horror films, and then we had the one in the list of the day as well. So, all in all, I think we did pretty. I think we covered National Pig Day about as well as a morning radio show that plays games could. So, I'm going to Disneyland and DCA for my birthday. It's the hubby's first time. Well, I hope you two have a fantastic time. Please enjoy Disneyland and California Adventure. May it be everything that you've ever wanted it to be. Good morning, 2HC. Good night, FHC. See you next week or whatever, says Jack. Likewise to you, Jack. Thank you for being here. Today, again, this is a 2-hour edition of Gaming Morning Show. I'm going to send us somewhere via the raid after we give you some sports here in just a moment. And then we'll go from there. But yeah, with Sean out today, a good day for me to do just a couple of hours. And then we'll be full show tomorrow from our home studios. I will have GMS on the road from Seattle coming up next week. Or sorry, on Friday. And then next week, we should be pretty okay for 5 shows, 3 hours. So yeah, we should be kind of back to normal after a couple of odd weeks with my trip to Arizona last week. And then our trip to Seattle twice this week. Part of me wished I could have just stayed up in Seattle, but was not meant to be. The good news is I'm already over 100 points. So if you had that on your bingo card, which, you know, we're out of February, so I don't know if we'll keep the bingo cards around, but we are going to look into the suggestions that you all put into the Google Doc, and that might be a way to bring those back out. We could also go to like a... Oh no, we actually have the smallest grid. We only have 3x3. So to say we could try to shrink it too if that was helpful. So, yeah. Jack says, good morning. Oh yeah, I read that one. Yeah, have fun at California Adventure and Disneyland. Should be pretty okay. I got a TBL, Trespass by Livestock. Look at that. We're one of life's winners. We did it. We crushed that one.
You are one of life's winners.
Thank you, Bob. Appreciate it very much. Thank you, chat, for being here. It is the Wednesday edition of the show.
You're welcome.
Big thanks to our Patreon subscribers who closed out the month of February celebrating a sub-anniversary. Includes Austin Attack, Travis Casey, Kate Zay, Dobbs, and Link. You can learn more about our Patreon subscriptions. You get them for $12 a month. It comes with a free $5 subscription to Sports.Gaming's channel, where you get the GMS emotes, including the pancakes. So if you would like to have access to those, you can. Please go to patreon.com/gaming morning show. And thanks to the 30 of you who are already subscribed to our Patreon. And hopefully we're going to have a couple of other things for you in the month of March, including some special events. So hopefully that'll be around as well. A reminder, Friday, 9:30. Ooh, we might not be able to do a show after the show. I'll be up in Seattle. I will let you know on our Discord. But we'll be back hopefully next week as well. All right. Dog's birthday coming up, March 3rd, grandmother's birthday. And they're going home. 86, around 5 years ago, she died. Oh, I'm sorry to hear about that, Melby. Okay. Well, thank you for sharing. Yeah, we do talk about no longer with us birthdays. So, and even like Look It's Mike O the other day on his Twitter shared some memories, because apparently his parents passed away similar time of year in different years, and so this time of year is always kind of tough for Look It's Mike O. So if you ever have a chance, go over and give some love to Mike, because Mike's been playing some Minecraft on his Twitch streams, which are Sundays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays typically. Find out more at Look It's Mike O on Twitch. All right, I'm Hefty Goof. Let's round up this particular episode of the show with a little bit of sports. It's 7:48 West Coast time. It's 10:48 out east, and it is 3:48 for those watching GMS in the UK. A couple of the stories that we told you about, and then we'll send you over somewhere if you're watching on Twitch. We told you the Gaming Morning Show, Morning Gaming Impromptu News, that the company that contracts for Apex Legends quality assurance team laid off many people. Magnet Global had a impromptu Zoom call yesterday with the entire QA team. They were being disbanded, it reads, from Wesley LeBlanc of Game Informer. More than 200 Apex Legends QA testers were let go. The Last of Us dev shares great example of game door absurd complexity from Ashley Bardem of Kotaku. We shared that story with you as well. And last but not least, we shared some of the games that are coming out in March, including March 3rd's Wu Long Fallen Dynasty, which is a a Souls-like game, and Resident Evil 4 Remake, and The Last of Us Part 1 for PC comes out this month. So those are some of the things we shared with you earlier. Right now, it's time for sports. Sports is always brought to you by King Gray. Find King Gray on the internet. King Gray proudly brings you sports for what it's worth. Yesterday, your Calgary Flames lost in overtime. What else is new? I watched that game for the first period, then I had to do some recording kind of ahead of GMS Tuesday nights, which, anyway, again, GMS Tuesday nights, not going to be part of our programming going forward in the same form it was. Wow. So the Flames lost in overtime. I believe they lost 5 seconds in, which is exactly how the Flames have been losing many games. Oh, no. They lost with 5 seconds left in overtime. Okay, that's actually a little bit different than it's been. 4:55 of overtime. Boston beats the Flames 4-3 in overtime, and the Bruins have a league-best 8-game winning streak. The Flames have now lost 13 games in overtime, and if you're counting at home, by far the most overtime losses this year, tied only with the Dallas Stars, who, again, Dallas is leading their division by a point, despite having 13 overtime losses this year. The Flames are now 5 games back of the final wildcard spot with 13 overtime losses this year. And there's only about 21 games left to go, so, gross. Also, your Los Angeles Lakers lost at Memphis 121-109, and your Portland Trail Blazers lost at Golden State 123-105. So if you had any of those on your bingo card, you were in incredibly good shape. Meanwhile, the Seattle Kraken won at St. Louis 5-3. So at least there's one good story to share with you in terms of some of the teams we keep track of in sports. Quinn Snyder's been hired as the Atlanta Hawks head coach. Let's see, there's a trade in the NHL. Patrick Kane has joined the New York Rangers. Rangers sent a conditional 2023 second-round pick and a 2023 fourth-round pick to the Chicago Blackhawks. In exchange for Kane, the Arizona Coyotes got involved as a third party to retain some of Kane's salary and make it possible for the Rangers to fit him in under the cap. In exchange for retaining 25% of Kane's cap hit, the Coyotes got a 2025 third-round pick from the Rangers. So there's one trade in the NHL. Detroit's Davis is closing in on the NCAA career mark for Pete Maravich in terms of scoring. A 38-point performance in Detroit's 81-68 win over Purdue Fort Wayne on Tuesday. Antoine Davis needs just 26 more points to break Pete Maravich's NCAA scoring record. I didn't know that one was in question. Leads the nation 28.1 points per game. Upped his production lately at 34 points per game. Wow, that's pretty impressive. All-time record is 3,667 points, and it stood since 1970. And that was set also before the three-point line came into play, which is nuts. Also, Davis is playing in his 5th season, whereas Pete Maravich, wow, he was only able to play 3 seasons, so that's still really impressive for Pete Maravich. But Antoine Davis might become the all-time leader in scoring in the NCAA. All right, there you go. There is your sports. Brought to you as always by King Gray. Find King Gray on the internet. Okay, I'm Hefty Goof. Thank you for being part of the show today. We are going to send you somewhere if you're watching on Twitch. If you'd be so kind as to say good morning from GMS. We don't always do a Billy Thundergun Teammate of the Match Award for a 2-hour show, but want to give it today.
Billy Thundergun, Teammate of the Match Award.
To Jack. Jack had a steady contribution to chat throughout the course of the morning. Honorable mention to everyone who participated in the entry-level job conversation from the first hour, and also specifically to Drew Mega as well. Gabe Pride gets honorable mention as well for Miss Piggy. Y'all had a great show. I appreciate you hanging out with us over the course of the 2 hours today. We'll be back tomorrow with a full arsenal. Sean will be back as well. Very excited about that. For now, we leave you with a transfer, if you will, from us to someone on Twitch who's broadcasting today. Just looking at my list. Yes. Oh, that would be a good one. Yeah. All right, let's go say good morning from GMS to P Soy Milk, who is currently streaming Stardew Valley, but is doing a partner push. So if you'd be so kind as to say good morning from GMS, we'll send you over there via the raid on Twitch. For everyone else who made it possible, I am Hefty Goof. Thank you for having fun with us today. We will see you again tomorrow for more Gaming Morning Show, as we do Monday through Friday, 6 to 9 a.m. Pacific Time on Facebook Gaming, Twitch, YouTube, and at GamingMorningShow.tv. 2-hour show, back with all 3 hours tomorrow. Appreciate being part of it. We'll see you again soon. Goodbye, everyone.